graduate of UNC, Chapel Hill, and I'm very happy to be here to see Lewin again. He is an uncle-in-law, I guess, a friend of my uncle-in-law. They were roommates at Howard University, so we had a chance to meet him and his wife a couple years ago down in Jacksonville, Florida. But I'm very happy to be here. I have a question, kind of piggybacking off of the subject of race. We know that in the 1800s, before and after slavery, there were a lot of crimes against, hate crimes that occurred, such as this. In 2008, we have a black presidential candidate. Is there too much focus on race today with the presidential candidate and the things that are going on?
Of course. Yeah, from my opinion, the thing that makes the candidate so impressive is that he does not carry the baggage that the average African American has. First thing, he is truly an African American because his father is from Africa and his mother's white. He grew up in Hawaii, so he was more or less divorced from what the baggage we carry in this country from a psychological standpoint. And you look at his speech, and they say they're comparing it to some of the greatest speeches ever made one other night. And it is a fantastic speech because he's saying the preacher, he can sit and listen to the preacher. Everybody that's preaching is not going to tell him exactly what they want to hear. You can't agree with anybody who's giving us totally with a speech. But he said you can take out the parts you want. And he's not in there to tell that man how to preach or whatever, but apparently he thought enough of him to be there. And then, what about his freedom of speech? You got this white preacher was hollering Hussein, and nobody got bent out of shape about that. So basically, he's just an unusual person. He's on a wave, and it's hard to stop somebody who's riding that wave he's riding because he is very bright, extremely bright. And we talk about people with experience. The captain of the Titanic was the most experienced captain on the line. He's ready to handle just about everything that comes his way. He's very bright on his feet, and he's got plenty of experience.
I also think he has put the ball in our court. We're trying to figure out if we're ready to cross the line. At what point are we going to, what does it take? At what point are we going to get before we're going to be ready to cross this line and become human beings?
I think people are afraid, that because a lot of our black leaders have been assassinated. Yes. And people are afraid, well, if we voted in office, will we lose another one of our heroes?
Well, my mom says the same thing. That's what I think a lot of people are worried about that, but I don't think he's afraid, and that's what's important. He's not afraid.
Well, one other thing is that they said the most dangerous animal in the world is an unemployed young male, unemployable. And the horrible thing that happened here, there's no way you could make that racial, this poor girl being killed by these two idiots out there, because they would kill anybody. They'd kill you. Back in Atlanta, the killings are just unbelievable. A black male in Atlanta would be safer in Baghdad than he is in Atlanta. Walking around there, the guns are there, and they just kill people for no reason whatsoever. These young people have no conscience whatsoever. So you need somebody to bring the jobs back, because the jobs that we used to have, they don't exist anymore. In Atlanta, they used to have a Ford plant and a General Motors plant. You could finish high school, start working out there, your wife could stay home, you worked overtime, you could have 2 cars, you'd have a little house, you could actually send your kids to school. They're both gone. There's no other jobs at it. Even people with college degrees can't find jobs now, master's degrees. So somebody needs to change something. Russia was a country one day and there was nothing the next. And nobody knew it was coming.
Any more questions?
Okay, it's a question and a statement. We're talking about Obama, and should we do another conversation about race? You were saying, will we be human? And she was saying that people were afraid because he might get killed. Okay. 1898, killing the men, letting the men out of town. and terrorizing people so they would not do anything. Okay? So, do you think that, asking the first part of the question, with this ripple effect and literally cutting off the heart of the black community, sending out the intellectuals, leaving everyone scared, should the people of other generations, even though they're not direct descendants, be part of this redress that he's talking about?
I think you'd have to include them.
And the other part of that
I think
question,
that's what they're worried about. I think that's what the power, the white power structure or what have you, I think that's what they're worried about, because if you give this compensation, if you can prove that these people need compensation, then you start talking about not only material things, but psychological things. And you have to feed, you know, one of my things is a cultural center or a radio station. Something that would fill a void in people who weren't directly related to the losses as Dr. Manly or the Thomas C. Millers.